Most riders over 40 think adventure bikes mean tiptoeing at stoplights or wrestling tall tanks. Not anymore. Today, we're counting down 10 of the best low-seat adventure bikes built for mature riders who want comfort, control, and capability, without sacrificing fun. And stick around for number 1, because it's the most overlooked ADV bike in its class, and it just might be the perfect fit you never knew existed. Number 10. BMW R1300GS, 32.7 by 31.5 inches. You might not have expected to see a proper GS on this page. But here's the thing, the new R1300GS does indeed qualify via the use of clever technology combined with an optional low seat. This isn't your typical compromise bike. It's the full-fat GS experience that literally lowers itself when you need it most. The adaptive height control system automatically lowers the bike below 15.5 miles per hour to 32.3 inches. Go above that speed and the height rises to 32.7 inches for optimal performance and ground clearance. But here's where it gets really interesting. Spec the low comfort seat and you're looking at a very accessible 31.5 inches. That's proper flat foot territory for most riders over 40. There's quite a big caveat to this though. Adaptive height control costs $654, and it can only be added if you've already ticked the 2108 dynamic package. That's adding over $2,500 to the cost of your R1300GS before you've even looked at the other many options. Ouch! At least the low comfort seat only costs $64, but think about what you're getting here. This is the legendary GS capability. The bike that's conquered every continent, now accessible to riders who previously couldn't even consider it because of seat height concerns. The technology works seamlessly. Hit a red light and the bike drops automatically. Pull away and it rises back up for optimal performance. It's like having a suspension technician riding along, making adjustments every time you stop. For riders over 40 who want the ultimate adventure machine without the intimidation factor of a sky-high seat, this is it. Sure, it's expensive, but when you're getting legendary GS capability with confidence-inspiring accessibility, some things are worth the premium. The system reads your speed constantly. Below 15.5 miles per hour, think parking lots, gas stations, red lights, it drops to give you maximum confidence. Above that speed, it rises for proper ground clearance and suspension travel. This is German engineering solving a real-world problem that's kept countless riders off adventure bikes. Number 9. Ducati Multistrada V2, 32.7 inches. The Multistrada V2 is Ducati's entry-level, more affordable version of its range-topping Multistrada. But don't let that fool you. This is still pure Italian soul wrapped in real-world accessibility. Originally launched as the Multistrada 950 in 2017, Ducati renamed it as the V2 in 2022, following the arrival of the all-new V4 Multistrada 1200. It's also the most novice-friendly of the Multistrada family, with the lowest seat height of 32.7 inches. That can be lowered further to 31.9 inches with the aid of a kit. The V4, meanwhile, has an adjustable seat height of 33.1 to 33.9 inches, lowerable to 31.9 to 32.7 inches with an optional kit. Here's what makes the V2 special for mature riders. It delivers that distinctive Ducati character without the complexity or intimidating height. Although no true off-roader, the Multistrada V2 is a great, versatile V-twin road bike with bags of Italian character. The 32.7-inch seat height puts it in that sweet spot where most riders can get at least 1 foot down confidently. With the lowering kit bringing it to 31.9 inches, even shorter riders can feel planted and secure. This isn't about compromising on the Ducati experience. It's about making that experience accessible to more riders who've been intimidated by tall adventure bikes. The riding position works perfectly for riders over 40. Upright enough for comfort on longer rides, sporty enough to keep things interesting when the road gets twisty. The bars fall naturally to hand, and that accessible seat height means confidence at every stop. The V2 proves you don't need the flagship V4 or a sky-high perch to get that Italian magic that makes every ride feel like an event. Number 8. Suzuki Vstrom 800RE 32.5 inches. Ever heard of a bike that quietly gets everything right without shouting about it? While the Vstrom 800DE doesn't have a hope of even getting on our list, its more road-oriented Vstrom 800RE, recently launched by Suzuki, is one of the most accessible ADVs out there. Here's the genius behind the RE. It gets a comprehensively tweaked riding position, featuring lower bars plus slightly higher and more rear-set foot pegs. The seat height is 32.5 inches, a chunky 1.2 inches lower than the DE. A reduction in suspension travel helps achieve this lower height, and to make the RE even more friendly for mature riders, it also gets a taller windscreen. This is smart engineering. Instead of just chopping the suspension and calling it a day, Suzuki rethought the entire ergonomic package specifically for road-focused adventure riding. The lower bars reduce reach and put you in a more relaxed position, perfect for riders over 40 who don't want to feel like they're doing yoga just to reach the handlebars. The repositioned foot pegs create a more natural leg position for longer rides without cramping. And that taller windscreen, it actually deflects wind instead of directing it straight at your chest, reducing fatigue on highway stretches. At 32.5 inches, the seat height hits that accessibility sweet spot. Most riders can get both feet down with confidence, and even shorter riders will find it manageable. For riders over 40 who want adventure capability without the dirt bike compromises or intimidating height, the 800RE hits the perfect balance. It's accessible without being apologetic about its capabilities. The road-focused suspension tuning means it soaks up highway imperfections and city potholes without beating you up. Exactly what mature riders want from an adventure bike. Number 7. Royal Enfield Himalayan, 32.5 inches. The Himalayan has been radically overhauled for 2024, featuring a new Sherpa 452 cubic centimeter single-cylinder, Royal Enfield's first water-cooled engine, a new TFT dashboard, and much more besides. At the same time, its standard seat height has grown, punting the bike well down this list from the outgoing model's second-place position. It's still not exactly lofty, though, with an adjustable seat that lies 32.5 inches off the ground in its lowest setting. An optional seat drops that to 31.7 inches. Here's what makes the new Himalayan special for riders over 40. It's finally got the modern reliability they deserve. That water-cooled single delivers proper performance with contemporary dependability. No more air-cooled compromises, no more wondering if it'll start on cold mornings. The TFT dashboard brings the Himalayan into the modern era without overwhelming complexity. You get all the information you need: speed, fuel, gear position, trip data, without a confusing maze of menus and buttons. But the real story is accessibility. At 32.5 inches standard, 31.7 inches with the low seat, it's approachable for a wide range of riders. The upright riding position is comfortable for hours and the controls fall naturally to hand. The adjustable seat feature is brilliant. You can fine-tune the height to match your inseam and confidence level. Start higher for better ground clearance, then lower it as you get more comfortable with the bike. This is adventure riding without the adventure pricing or intimidating seat height. Simple, honest, and built for the long haul with modern reliability that mature riders demand. The 452 cubic centimeter water-cooled engine represents a huge leap forward for Royal Enfield, finally matching modern expectations for performance and dependability. Number 6. CF Moto 450M T-32.3 inches. Chinese brand CF Moto's lower middleweight trail bike is a blast either on the road or off it, with a gutsy-sounding parallel twin and plush suspension that bellies the $7,238 price tag. It's a great option for those wanting something with better on-road manners than a low-capacity trail bike like a Honda CRF 300, without ending up with a machine too heavy and expensive. As standard, it's 32.3 inches, but by adjusting a suspension linkage, it's possible to drop that figure to just 31.5 inches, matching the lowest slung bikes on this list. Here's what's impressive about the 450 MT for mature riders. The build quality doesn't feel budget. The fit and finish are genuinely impressive. The suspension is properly tuned for comfort, and that parallel twin has real character without being intimidating. The ergonomics work perfectly for riders over 40. The bars are positioned for natural arm placement without stretching, the seat is shaped for comfort on longer rides, and the foot pegs are placed to reduce knee strain. At 32.3 inches standard, most riders can touch down confidently. But here's the genius part. That suspension linkage adjustment drops you to 31.5 inches without expensive kits or dealer visits. Just turn a wrench and lower the bike to your comfort zone. The plush suspension soaks up road imperfections without transmitting harsh impacts to your spine. Exactly what mature riders want from an adventure bike. It's compliant enough for comfort, but still controlled enough for confident handling. At $7,238, it's proof that you don't need a European badge or premium pricing to get quality engineering and accessible seat height. This is smart design at a sensible price point. Number 5. Triumph Tiger 900 GT, 32.3 inches. What was previously the winner of this list now only has a mid-table finish. The updated 2024 version of the Tiger 900 GT, for now at least, does without the GT Low variant, which came with a seat with an adjustable height between 30.3 and 31.1 inches. You can get close to the latter figure with the refreshed 3-cylinder ADV, however, by purchasing a 20mm lower accessory seat. The Rally Pro version doesn't even have a hope of getting in our top 10, with longer travel suspension giving a lowest seat height of 33.9 inches. But here's what makes the Tiger 900 GT special for mature riders: that legendary Triumph triple character. It's smooth, refined, and delivers power in a way that never feels intimidating or harsh. The 32.3-inch seat height puts it right in the accessibility sweet spot. Most riders over 40 can get both feet down with confidence, and the seat shape is designed for comfort rather than just looking aggressive. The riding position is pure touring comfort. Upright enough for all-day rides without back strain, sporty enough for weekend canyon carving when the mood strikes. The bars are positioned perfectly for relaxed shoulders, and the foot pegs are placed to reduce knee strain on longer rides. With the 20mm lower accessory seat, you're looking at roughly 31.5 inches. Proper confidence territory for shorter riders. The seat itself is well padded and shaped to support you properly rather than just looking the part. This is British engineering at its finest. Refined, capable, and built for the long haul. The kind of bike that gets better the more miles you put on it. Number 4. BMW F800GS, 32.1 inches. Lower still than an R1300GS with the fancy suspension is the newbie-friendly BMW F800GS. Of all the GS machines, it's the one with the lowest seat of all. Based on the parallel twin F900GS, but with a softer tune, more basic spec, and lower seat and suspension, the F800GS comes as standard with a seat height of just 32.1 inches, which can be lowered to 30.7 inches via a low seat option, and all the way down to 29.9 inches with a suspension lowering kit. Here's the beauty of the F800GS for riders over 40. It's the GS experience without the intimidation factor. That parallel twin delivers smooth, predictable power that never tries to surprise you or throw you off balance. The 32.1-inch standard height is already accessible to most riders. Drop in the low seat and you're at 30.7 inches. Proper confidence territory where even shorter riders can get both feet planted solidly. Need to go even lower? The suspension kit gets you all the way down to 29.9 inches. That's lower than many street bikes, making it accessible to virtually any rider regardless of inseam. This is the GS for riders who want the legendary BMW adventure bike experience without the drama of a sky-high seat. Light enough for tight trails, stable enough for highway miles, and comfortable enough for all-day adventures. The softer tune means the engine delivers its power in a more relaxed, user-friendly manner, perfect for mature riders who want capability without aggression. The more basic spec keeps costs down, while still delivering that essential GS character. The suspension lowering options are brilliant. If you can start at the standard height and lower it as needed, or go straight to the lowest setting for maximum confidence. Number 3. Moto Guzzi Stelvio, 32.7 inches. The Stelvio is the second bike from Moto Guzzi to use the all-new V-twin engine, following on from the V100 Mandello. The Guzzi is blessed with a very accommodating 32.7-inch perch, while still being roomy enough to allow those over 6 feet to get comfortable. It's a very competent on-road adventure tourer. Indeed, while it can handle some light off-road work, it's a bike much more at home doing the traditional touring thing. It's also a bike that will stand out in the crowd from the rafts of R1300GS models and Africa twins. That said, exclusivity comes at a price, and on that front, the $18,669 starting price does look a bit steep. But here's what you're buying for that premium: Italian soul in an adventure package that you'll rarely see duplicated at gas stations or bike nights. That V-twin has character that makes every ride feel special, with a distinctive exhaust note that announces your arrival. The 32.7-inch seat height hits the sweet spot for most riders over 40. It's low enough for confidence at stops, but high enough to maintain that commanding adventure bike riding position. The seat itself is well padded and shaped for long-distance comfort. The riding position is pure touring comfort. The seat is plush and supportive. The bars are positioned for relaxed shoulders during long rides, and the foot pegs are placed to reduce knee strain over hundreds of miles. And this is for riders who want to stand out from the crowd of common adventure bikes. When's the last time you saw another Stelvio at a gas station? The exclusivity is part of the appeal. You're riding something special, not just another mass-market ADV. The all-new V-twin engine represents Moto Guzzi's commitment to modern performance, while maintaining that distinctive Italian character that makes every ride feel like an event. Number 2. Honda NC750X, 31.5 inches. Although updated again in 2021 with refreshed styling and an even lower seat, down from 32.7 to 31.5 inches, Honda's low-revving, commuter-orientated NC750X might spark some discussion. After all, it's not the sort of thing that you're about to ride across the Serengeti. But despite sharing most of its underpinnings with the Integra scooter, the X model is clearly styled to fit. The adventure mold is immensely practical. There's even a storage compartment in the dummy tank. Comfortable and novice-friendly, and even comes with Honda's very clever semi-automatic DCT gearbox option. Here's what makes the NC750X brilliant for mature riders. It just works without drama or complexity. That low-revving engine delivers smooth, predictable power that never tries to surprise you or catch you off guard. The 31.5-inch seat height is genuinely accessible. Most riders can get both feet planted solidly, and even shorter riders will find it manageable. This is proper flat-foot confidence territory. The DCT transmission option is revolutionary for riders over 40. No clutch to worry about in stop-and-go traffic. No stalling at red lights. No hand fatigue from clutch work in heavy traffic. The system is so smooth and reliable, it's actually becoming the preferred choice for serious long-distance riders who want to focus on the scenery rather than gear changes. The storage compartment in the dummy tank is pure genius. Where else can you store your helmet, gloves, wallet, and other essentials without needing expensive panniers or top boxes? It's weatherproof, lockable, and perfectly sized for daily necessities. The upright riding position is comfortable for hours without creating back strain or wrist pressure. The controls are positioned perfectly for natural operation, and the windscreen provides decent protection without creating buffeting. This is the practical choice that nobody talks about, and that's exactly why it works so well. While others chase horsepower numbers and flashy graphics, the NC750X quietly delivers everything most riders actually need. The 2021 updates brought that crucial seat height reduction, from 32.7 to 31.5 inches, making it even more accessible while maintaining all the practical benefits that make it special. Coming up next, something even rarer. You've probably never seen it, but once you know, you'll start hunting. Number 1. Sinnis 125 Terrain, 31.5 inches. Another adventure bike with an impressively low seat height of just 31.5 inches. Although in this case, we may be pushing the adventure bit. Chinese brand Sinnus introduced its 125 cubic centimeter single-cylinder Terrain in 2021, and it remains one of the few A1 class compliant but full-size learner adventure bikes. The low seat height of 31.5 inches comes as a result of that. Unfortunately, too, however, does its fairly measly 13 bhp output and limited ability both on and off-road. But if you want a full-size, low-seat adventure for around $5,080, not much comes close. Here's why the Terrain deserves the top spot. It proves that adventure isn't about horsepower or intimidating seat heights. It's about attitude and accessibility. That 125cc single might only produce 13 horsepower, but it delivers enough performance for real-world riding. Perfect for new riders, commuters, or experienced riders over 40 who want something simple, honest, and completely unintimidating. The 31.5-inch seat height is genuinely accessible to virtually any rider. Even those with shorter inseams can get both feet planted solidly with confidence. This is proper flat foot territory that eliminates any anxiety about stopping or maneuvering at low speeds. The styling is proper ADV, upright riding position, long travel suspension, adventure bike proportions, and wind protection that actually works. It looks like bikes costing 3 times as much with none of the intimidation factor. At around $5,080, it's the most affordable way to get into adventure riding. Perfect for learning the ropes before stepping up to something bigger, or for experienced riders who want something simple and honest without complexity or maintenance headaches. The A1 class compliance means new riders can legally ride it, but the full-size proportions mean it doesn't look or feel like a toy. You get the adventure bike experience without the power or height that might intimidate mature riders returning to motorcycling. The Terrain proves that adventure riding isn't about the size of your engine or the height of your seat. It's about the size of your spirit and your willingness to explore. This is the bike that gets people started on adventure riding, the one that builds confidence rather than testing it. Sometimes the best bike is the one that doesn't try to impress anyone. It just works. The bottom line? Today's ADV market is packed with options, including a growing number of bikes built with lower seat heights and real-world riders in mind. Sure, some machines like the Tenere 700 Extreme still tower tall, but many modern bikes offer comfort, confidence, and control, without needing a ladder to climb aboard. Just remember, seat height is only part of the story. Try before you buy, because what feels right to one rider might not fit another. Bottom line, you don't need to be tall to go big. The journey's waiting. Pick the bike that makes you feel planted, confident, and ready to ride. That glowing red thing on your screen? Yeah, that's the subscribe button. Hit it, because your next adventure starts right here. Still got fuel in the tank? Click the next video right here